The idea that we're trading off of today is really simple. Went onto the 15-minute time frame, saw that this order block had been filled. We do have a strong gap down. This area does need to be filled, yes. However, this downside, this is a weaker low, this is a weaker low, and we have equal lows here that seem really smooth. It lets me know that there's short-term liquidity that on this time frame needs to be grabbed, and this needs to be filled to here before continuing up and grabbing this upside liquidity where these relative equal highs are right here. So we'll go back up above 25,000, but it does need to get back here and grab this short term. And so what I did was I went to the 5-minute time frame, tried to spot any kind of fair value gap, anything that would want to drag it down. I spotted two. I spotted this one where this blue line is right here that you see, and then where this box is here. And this is my target. On the 1 minute is where I found my entry. I saw that it had created these short-term equal lows that were relative here. I figure that put a stop order in if it breaks through those, and I know that it's going to continue on down to the downside. Then I went ahead and turned on core theory, and it spat out sell at the same time. And with all those confirmations, I knew that this was a safe trade to take. So I'm just gonna let this play out right here for you. And this blue line would be my TP1, which is a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward ratio. As you can see, we're going for a total of 1 to 5.8. Yeah, and you see right here is where people would say that they would believe that it would find a support, quote unquote, because you got price touching it multiple times. But one thing you got to know is that these are really even; they're not real jagged. So where places are even like this is usually where liquidity is sitting below. Where you see jaggedness like this, that's where you know that the sharks just came up and fed. That's where the feeding frenzy just occurred. So with it being real even like this, that's what lets me know that that's where the lunch is sitting, that's where the liquidity is sitting. See what it's doing right now, where it could pull back to, actually, why am I going to put a new line? Let me delete that. I'll move this one. Where it could pull back to, it's up to here. It could pull back up to there before going ahead and continuing to the downside to make sure that price moves efficiently, fully. And there's a small one up here, but it's pretty weak in my opinion. I do believe that it could pull back up to entry before continuing to the downside, because this is typically a break of these lows. There's a retail pattern here. You see 4 minute time frame. Yeah, that's the basis of the analysis on the 15 minute. It does say to buy here. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and put on my scripts. This is the latest version that I have out for you guys. It says in 1 hour to buy. It says in 4 hours to sell. So it's trying to say that long term it's seeing sells. Short term right now it's seeing buys. Go to the 1 minute. It says the exact same thing. says the exact same. And the indicator does put out a stop loss, as you can see, whenever it spits out a signal. So if we were to take this exact trade right here, this is the stop loss. It goes to 1 to 1, then 1 to 2, 1 to 3, right? And it gets pretty close. It gets close to it, you know? It does. And the way that you change that is in the settings. You go in here to your stop multiplier, and you just hit 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. So if we hit 1.5, it gives you a little bit of a wider stop, you know? And yeah, your risk to reward is sitting about the same. That's the thing to understand. Yes, you have a wider stop, but your risk to reward is the same. So you're going to be using a lower lot with a wider stop. Me, I use my levels. I do not use what the indicator says. To me, the indicator is a confirmation. And that's all that it is. Extra confirmation. I do not look at it as some sort of holy grail, because the price is algorithmic. It's going to do what it's going to do when it's going to do it. It's algorithmic. It's going to move to where the liquidity is. And you can see right here, the indicator called out, essentially, these TP lines where they are right where I marked up these levels. I do not think that this is a coincidence. I don't think that it is. Because the algo, the core theory, is based off of the core theory of the way that the market moves. You know, you can go on YouTube, ICT, he'll talk to you about it. You know, that's where these concepts come from. And I'm not going to try to act like I came up with it or anything. I just figured out how to make an indicator that goes along with the process. That's it. That's all that I did. And I wanted to make it for you guys. Because it's simple, it's easy to use, it tells you when you should buy and sell. It follows the order flow, it follows the liquidity, it follows the money. And yes, it is an indicator, so it is not perfect, right? We got buys that it's calling all the way up here. Okay, and I can explain to you why it's calling those buys, right? So what it's saying is, okay, we just created an order block with an engulfing candle, right? And so it's looking at this specific candle right here as an order block. Oh, there's one of my clients. And so it thinks that the price is going to continue to run away from it, okay? So that's why it's calling this buy here. The reason that it's calling this buy here is because we have a break of these highs. This high technically broke this high, and this right here broke these because it considered this one to be the high. So you can see why some of these signals are being called, right? So it's reading the market, looking for this information that I'm telling you about, and exactly what I said. See, it thinks that it's an order block that's being created right here. That's what it thinks. And we have an engulfing candle, and so because this order block is telling you to sell, it's creating an order block that's going to come back to. So ride the downward momentum, you know, before it comes back and retraces into it. Boom, it shoots out a TP. You know, if you had followed these cells right here, you had your TP right here. You had your other one right here. You'd be at it. You'd be able to take profit already. You'd have a TP1. You'd have 30 pips, 29 pips on the day, almost 30 pips on the day. Yeah, that's where I think the money is going. I think it's going down back to this 24.5 area. That's where I do believe that the liquidity is sitting because we already ran equal highs at 7. And so because we already ran equal highs at 7, we got these. See, it's doing exactly as I'm saying. These concepts do not lie. These concepts do not lie. These concepts do not lie. And I'm on TradingView, so that way I can monitor the analysis, monitor the trade from here. Right? And I'm not a person that 1-to-1. I've put my stop loss to break even. I don't do that. I don't do that. Okay? I don't go in and try to micromanage a bunch of my trades. I don't do that. What I will do, right? Because right now we're sitting at a 1 to 1.6. Okay? When we get to about this area right here, I will move it in my stop loss and profit mentally, and so I'll close. I will close the. I'm gonna mess this up here. I'll close the stop loss here, like I'll drag it down. There's a little bit above the close there. Yeah. So about like that. I've already hit TP1. And it technically did create an order block. You know, we do have a bearish impulse following with 2 candles immediately after, engulfing and breaking this low, and it traded back up into it. Did not break it. If it broke through, it would be breaker block sort of pattern, right? Yep. So, it called them. It's calling themselves 1, 2, 3. You're gonna see multiple take profits smash. Like this one right here, you'd already be at TP3 if you had taken the trade from this sell signal right here that was called. You'd already be at TP3. You'd have 3%. You'd be done. You'd be done for the day. You'd be completely done for the day. See, this is I think it's from retail traders. Why we're seeing this? Why we're seeing this? It's from the retail traders. That little push up to mitigating this order block. Because buyers and sellers they don't control the market. They don't. If you have a bunch of orders, obviously it's going to move it a little bit. It's algorithm looking for where the money is at, and it wants it. It wants it. It wants the money. It's going to go eat it. It's going to go eat it. Yeah, see what I'm saying? We got a fair value gap right here. Take this indicator out. That it could come back to. So like I was saying, it could totally, if it retraces, it could totally retrace all the way up back to entry. That it does decide to have a big deep pullback. this is what we're looking at right here. Got one more 5-minute candle coming in. Open up. Yeah, I just wanted to get on here and record a little bit and just explain to you guys my thought process. Break down one of the trades, explain to you why I'm getting in, letting you know what kind of order it was. This is a stop order. Because once it went through there, that's enough confirmation for me. It spat out everything that I needed, everything that I'm looking for. We're just letting it ride, just letting it do its thing. It's breathing, it's going. That's what it's doing. It's breathing. You gotta just let it breathe. A lot of people, they get stuck in their emotions. They don't even realize that they're holding their breath. They don't even realize it. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in, checking out. Yeah, I'm going to put out more like this, explain my thought process, so you guys can see exactly what I'm looking for and why I'm looking for these things. Because that's the important thing. You need to know why these ideas, these concepts are being looked for in the market. Let's look right here. It wants you to think that it's finding support. What it's doing is it's probably coming up back to where I said. It's coming to fill the fair value gap that exists. Pulls back. And then it's going to just shit all over itself. That's as deep as I see it pulling back. And technically, this right here is an order block. We do have that right there. So I do see that it could come back up here and grab this little bit of money for 1 or 2 before coming back down. But it does seem that it's just going ahead and taking a poop, grabbing that. Going to grab that lower liquidity. Yeah, those are the probabilities that I see. That's my thought process. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, checking it out. And it's going to do this every day. These factors are always going to be in the market every single day. You're never not going to see them. It's going to create them. It's going to create them every day. This isn't mystical. This isn't some kind of secret sauce. It's just the way that it works, man. The way that it works. Price is always going to want to trade at fair value, and fair value is where the money is. That's where the money is at. That's where people are going to buy. You see what I'm saying? And by buy, I mean buy into the idea. The idea of the movement of price. The market is a salesman. Don't ever forget that. Everything in life is a sale. And the market is an advertisement. It's a salesman. It wants you to make a decision. It wants you to feel like you have to make a decision. And so all people, what they do is they immediately go, oh, no, I'm just not ever going to mess with it, They immediately doubt themselves, and they choose to not make a decision as their decision. And that's okay, those people can do that. I need people to hand me my coffee in the morning. That's completely fine. Go ahead. Go ahead and do it. Choose to not make the decision. Choose to not invest in yourself. Choose to not do that. It's completely fine with me. I'm just going to sit here and hone this skill, practice this skill. One day, I'll be able to teach it to my kids. They'll be able to take this skill if the market is still around at that time. The times that we live in they're wonderful, but they're very uncertain. And that's the thing about the market. You have to be okay with uncertainty. A lot of people are afraid of it. They don't want to deal with it. But it's okay. Uncertainty is fine. Sure, we may not know what the next candle is going to do, but what you got to understand, the only thing that's going to make the market just one candle on the 1 minute, boom, one random direction is manual intervention. That's it. News. Somebody touching the market. Literally. That's why all these people are making jokes, all these traders, they're going out here doing these shorts, going, oh my God, move the market, so I can win this trade, they're making jokes, man. Paper trading, making jokes. It's all just a bunch of jokes, man. In order for that to happen, there has to be manual intervention. When you see steady, swift movement like this is structure. See right here, it's forming accumulation, what you would call this. A bunch of different orders. It's collecting them. Yeah, this is what we're looking at on a higher time frame here. Yeah, see what I'm saying? Order block here, so it could come back and fill it 50% flip. Because it does have to make its top wick. Price here is moving efficiently. There's fair value gap to small fair value gap to the upside. And it's very possible to fill their value gaps with the next candle. Make sure price moves efficiently. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. And it may not here. It may just take this and dookie. Continue to just all over itself. That's what it looks like it's doing. So I've been sitting here for a minute. I'm gonna go in. I will update you guys with photos on how the rest of the trade goes. But I'm gonna go ahead and do what I need to do, and I'm gonna move my stops in the profit. So hope you guys